Hi, Tammy Lawrence Symbolisti here with you today. I'm a yoga teacher for the City of Cambridge, and I'm going to take you through a little sequence of Sun Salutations, Surya Namaskar A. So let's begin just at the center of the mat. We want to become quite present into this moment. Let there be a couple of inches of space between your feet, big toes closer than the heels. And then let's start just by taking one hand onto the pelvis and one hand onto your lower back. And we want to play with the feet a little bit here. So we want to, when we're working through the posturing, have a good foundation to build from. So just to explore. Now, if you were to lift the arches of your feet and then come out to the outside edges of the feet, just sense what that does to the legs and the pelvis. Can you feel that that drops the pelvis backwards somewhat? So there's this tilt posteriorly. Then if I were to do the other way, so big toe side of the feet, so I drop into the instep of the feet. Notice how that drops the knees in, and it brings the pelvis into an anterior position, so it drops forward. And just play with that a few times. So let the knees fall apart as you let the insteps lift, and then drop them in. And notice how that creates kind of this dog and cat tilting of the pelvis. So what we want to find is what we could say a neutral positioning of the pelvis. So come to center. You can keep holding on to the pelvis here. And then just as if you were doing that dog and cat tilt, notice how that shifts and changes the weight distribution on your feet. And then invite the pelvis to come to this neutral position. So no dog nor cat tilt. From there, drop your hands. Imagine there's an invisible string pulling the top of the head closer to the ceiling. Let your head balance over the shoulders, and the shoulders balance over the hips. And then just take the body's weight, and instead of that pronation and supination of the feet, let yourself slide the body's weight forward and then back. And what you're working towards finding is this placement of the feet where there's weight distribution right at the front of the heel. And when you're doing that, you'll notice it really starts to distribute the weight more evenly in the feet. So each time that we come to standing, invite yourself to just reconnect with the feet in that placement on the floor. Okay, so let's step up to the top end of your mat, whatever end is the top end. And again, little space between the feet, big toes closer than heels. So we want to come into this Tadasana or mountain pose. So imagine the fingertips are heavy and draw them towards the floor. Now it's not like standing at attention like a soldier. You don't want to be rigid, but let it be this energy that draws the body up long and tall. Shoulders are back and down. You got it. Let's inhale the arms up halfway. Exhaling to Namaste or prayer position. Inhale, take the arms high, floating your thumbs where you can comfortably see them. And then exhale, press the walls away. 2 more. Inhale the arms up halfway. Exhaling Namaste. Inhale, follow the thumbs towards the ceiling. And exhale, press away the walls. Obviously, if your shoulders are tender, you're not going to take the arms up quite so high. Maybe even only in front of the face would do for you today. Then let's go in the opposite direction. Scoop the arms towards the ceiling. Let the palms meet at whatever height you're comfortable with. And as you exhale, start to draw your thumbs down the midline or front of the body, like you're diving down towards the floor. Hinge forward from the hip joint, about half of the way down. And you'll notice that all of the weight is back into the seat, and that's fine. Now, halfway down is going to do for some of you, particularly if you get or have osteoporosis or arthritis, or if you're just feeling super tight. Otherwise, you can bend the knees and slide the hands down deeper along the front of the legs. Exhale here. Find the back of the skull. Bring the belly button in. Inhale, bring yourself up halfway. Exhale, descend, sliding the hands down, lower onto the legs, even if all of the weight is back into the heels. Inhaling, lift, and exhale to descend. Now bending the knees deeply enough that the hands can frame the feet on the floor. Let's take a big step back with your right foot. And then drop to the knee and relax the toes. And just make sure your left knee is right on top of the left ankle. You can prop yourself onto your fingertips. Let's drop the chin into the chest. And just let a little bit of rocking forward and back start to unfold here. Now, as you're rocking forward, just make sure you're not bringing that left knee past the left ankle. Just a little rock back, rock forward. Relaxed lunge, so chin is down. I have to apologize for my squeaky floor. Old century home houses, and you get those floors that make lots of noise, right? Okay, looking up with the head. Curl your right toes under, lift that knee off the floor, and then again, just getting a little bit of momentum so you can step the left foot forward, exhale here. Bend to the knees, scoop the arms to a T position, bring the belly button in, come all the way up, exhaling, bring the hands back in front of the heart, and pause. So remember what we talked about at each time we're standing. Check in with your feet, not rolling out nor rolling in. Let's go. Inhale, take your arms high. Second side. Exhale, coming down. Maybe only halfway, especially if you just had a big meal, by the way. It tends to get heartburn or vertigo if you go down too deep with this. So just be mindful of the things that we've spoken about so far, as well as those contradictions. As you exhale, go ahead and take yourself down deeper if that's comfortable. Belly button in. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, release. This time, bend the knees deeply. Frame your feet with your fingertips. Take a big step back with your left foot. And again, right knee over the right ankle, right? Let's drop onto the left knee. Relax the toes. Drop the chin into the chest. Pausing here for a moment. And then every little gentle, just rocking forward and rocking back. Making sure you're not bringing that knee past the ankle. That's most important with this. Notice how the left hip feels, if it's any different than whatever was going on the right-hand side. Get back to Uttanasana, that's standing forward bend. So we're going to look up with the head. Curl the left toes under, get that knee off the floor. A little bit of rocking back and forth, just enough to give you enough momentum that you can step the left foot up to join the right. Nice, exhale. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Reverse a swan dive, spin the palms towards the ceiling as you're rising. Exhaling, hands to heart and pause. Okay, inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. So again, you're bending the knees deeply, taking the hands to frame your feet, and we'll step the left foot back. Drop to the knee, relax the toes. Bring the right leg back to join the left. Keep yourself propped onto your fingertips, and as you exhale, hinge back into resting child. So seat to heels, forehead bowing down to the floor. Nice. Inhale, peel yourself up. A big step or many steps forward with your left foot. Curl the right toes under, lift that knee. And then that little momentum brings you forward, exhaling, standing forward bend. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Exhale, hands down in front of the heart. Second side, inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive yourself, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Nice, let's take the left leg back to a lunge. Drop to the knee, relax the toes. Right leg back. Exhaling, resting child. Nice, then drop onto the elbows this time. Look up with your head, and then elephant walk yourself forward until your belly lining. And when you get down here, use the hands like a pillow. And just place the forehead or the chin onto the back of the hands. We'll gather a little space between your legs. And let's bend the knees. We'll draw the heels in towards the seat. And just let the legs be relaxed there. So you're not flexing, you're not pointing the toes, just letting your feet be fully relaxed. And bring your focus now to your belly. And allow the belly to be fully received by the floor. Meaning you're not pressing your belly into the floor at all, but just allowing the belly to receive the floor. So softening the belly here. I'm so used to clenching through the abdomen, so we might have to have a little longer conversation to get the belly to soften. Very good. And then taking your legs, just starting to draw a circle on the ceiling with your big toes. It doesn't matter which direction you take this. That's it, very good. And then eventually inviting your legs to lower down. And just for the first one, let's curl the toes under, lift the knees off the floor, press into the heels of the feet. And then just invite the knees to soften. Now, and relax back down. If your feet tend to cramp, then please feel free, again, just to place the tops of the feet on the floor. If they cramp, leave the toes curled under. Now let's take the hands to frame your chest. So the heel of the hand is right in line with the bottom of where a bra would sit. Looking forward just slightly. Don't put too much weight into the hands, if any, just yet. And let's just roll your shoulders up, then back and down. I'm doing that several times. So up, back, and down. Getting that healthy synovial fluid into the shoulder girdle that helps with mobility and flexibility. Okay, so now as you get the shoulders back and down the next time, leave them there, gather the elbows in close to you, and then inhale, start to lift, forehead, nose, chin, bit of the upper body. You can put some weight into the hands, don't overdo it. And then exhale, melt the belly down, the heart center, the chin, the forehead. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to lower yourself back down. And once you get down again, placing the forearms on the floor so you can lift yourself up onto forearms into knees. Slowly walk your hands back until the elbow is right under the shoulder. And then step yourself up to a hands into knees position. Curl the toes under. As you exhale, jackknife the tailbone and hips high towards the ceiling, a big bend in the knees for Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Really press the floor away with your hands. Pick those hip bones up nice and high, or sitting bones, I should say. That's it. And just a walking meditation. You're starting to pedal through your heels. And then in time, let a little bit more momentum come from that. Start to walk your hands up towards your feet, up towards your hands, or you can walk your hands back towards your feet, whatever serves your practice. Exhale here. Exhale. Exhale. Nice. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Reverse the swan dive. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, hands in front of the heart. Nice. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Bend the knees deeply. Place the hands on the floor and then lunge the legs back one at a time. Drop to your knees. Relax your toes. Balasana, resting child, seat to heels, forehead to floor. So now you can creep yourself forward onto your elbows to belly line if you like, or we could inchworm ourselves to belly line. So that means we're going to inhale, lift up, keep the knees and feet on the floor, and dive your chin and your chest through your hands until you find your way to lying on the belly. Inhale, scoop up. Listen to your back so you don't come too high. Forehead, nose, chin, bit of the upper body. Press two hands into knees. Curl the toes under. Exhaling, tailbone, jackknives, high towards the ceiling. There's a little bend in the knees. Really rooting the front of the heart towards the front of your thighs. Got it. And then starting to take some steps through either leg here, bending the knee, pressing the opposite heel down. In time, gaining momentum. Gently walking the feet forward or hands back towards your feet. Bending the knees as deeply as needed. Find the back of the skull, back of the head. Inhale, lift. Hands hold on somewhere, so if that's not the floor, you might hold the legs. Belly button in, scoop your arms to a T position, roll the thumbs up towards the ceiling, come all the way up. And exhaling, bring the hands in front of the heart space. Nice, inhale, lift. Exhale, diving, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest. So you're elongating the spine. Imagine your chest could dive down closer to the floor as your seat presses to the wall behind you. Then step the feet back, one at a time. Plank position. Exhale, drop to the knees. Relax your toes. Dive the chin and chest through your hands. Inhaling, scooping up. You got it, hands into knees, curl the toes under. Exhaling, downward facing dog, and pause here, 5 cycles of breath. Nice. Looking up with the heads, take a big step forward with your right foot or many steps. Exhale. Inhale, left leg forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, come all the way up. Exhaling, hands in front of the heart. And pause. Breathing in. Breathing out. Nice, inhale, lift. The arms to the ceiling, exhale, forward fold. Back to your forward bend. Remember, if the floor is not within your reach, just don't go down so far until you bend your knees. Nice, left leg back to a lunge. Flatten the palms, right leg back, plank, little challenge. So you want to have your hips ideally down, right in line with the shoulders, so your seat's not up into the air here. Drop to your knees, relax your toes, dive down through the hands to rest on the belly. Shoulders down, elbows are in, inhaling, rise, forehead, nose, chin, bit of the upper body. Nice, hands into knees, toes curl under, jackknife the tailbone and hips towards the ceiling. A nice full inhalation and exhalation. Inhale, look up with the head. Exhale, left foot forward, one or many steps. Inhale, right foot forward. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Roots to rise, so press into those feet. Inhale, come all the way up, spinning the palms towards the ceiling. Exhaling, hands to heart. Ooh, building up some heat in the body. Let's go. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Right leg back. Left leg back. Drop to your knees, relax your toes. And just for a moment, sink the seat to the heels, bowing the forehead to the floor. Now, if you're getting tired at any point in the practice, this is a great place to come to, and just let yourself rest here. You might even pause the video before continuing, if you need to. Inhale, lifting hands into knees. Exhale, dive down through the hands. Inhaling to lift. Good. Hands into knees, toes curl under. Exhale, tailbone to ceiling. Soften the knees. Left leg forward. Right leg forward. Exhale, fold. Bend to the knees. Lift to the chest. Inhaling, rise. Exhaling, hands floating in front of the heart. Nice. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest, left leg back. Firmly plant the hands down, right leg back. Little challenge. Again, seat not way up into the air, draw it down a little bit below your shoulders. Drop to the knees, relax your toes. Dive through your hands. Inhale, scoop up, forehead, nose, chin, upper body. Hands into knees. Exhaling, downward facing dog. 5 cycles of breath. Remain in stillness or give it some movement. When ready, right leg forward. Exhale. Inhale, left leg forward. Exhale, forward fold. Nice. Bend the knees. Reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up to stand. Exhaling, hands to heart, and pause. Whew. Lift through the crown. Be stable through your feet. Nice. Inhale, let the arms rise. And then exhale, press the walls away, taking the hands onto your hips. Nice. Let's take a big step back with your right foot. Square your hips off to the front end of the mat, and as you exhale, bend into the left knee. And just kind of play with that lunge a little bit. So take your left knee. As you lunge, aim at your big toe. And then ease off. Aim at the second toe. And ease off and aim at the baby toe. And just notice which one of those placements feels the best for you today. Ideally, we say center of the knee to the center of the toes, but that might not serve your practice. So adjust it as needed. Nice. Inhale the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale, keep the shoulders down, but let your arms rise. And then exhale, bend your elbows and take your hands behind your head. Lift the chest, root deeply into your right foot, and deepen your lunge. Good. Inhale, take the arms back to the ceiling. Draw the hands into the chest, straighten your front leg. And release, hands to the pelvis again. Let's turn your feet. So right foot to 90, left foot in 45. So you're not on a tightrope here, so make sure that your feet aren't in one particular straight line. But the left foot is out to the left just somewhat, enough that you can comfortably square your hips off to the front end of your mat. Now as we arrive here, let's start to play with that lunging through your right leg. So at first, just bending the knee. Now ideally towards 90 degrees, but it might not happen that deep today. So at first, as you're bending it, aim the center of the knee to the center of the toes. And then ease off and bend the knee, aim towards your big toe. Don't drop in past that though. And then ease off and bend the knee, aiming towards the baby toe. And then just explore that. Lunge and release, and notice gently and carefully which one of those places feels the best for your right leg to come into that position and just hang out there. When you find it, draw your right hip back, left hip forward slightly. Inhale, draw your arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. So you can stay here if you like, lifting the chest closer to the thumbs so you create a small back bend. Or the same thing with the arms up. Inhale, exhale, drop the hands behind the head. Elbows squeeze towards each other. You're lifting the chest, deepen the lunge. Nice. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Pull your right leg straight. Spin the feet to point towards the front end of the mat, hands to hips, and just a little hula hoop of the hips here. Good, in the other direction. Nice, letting that all go. Inhale your arms up halfway. Exhaling, hands to namaste, and then jump or step your feet close together. Inhale, the arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Remember all of those considerations we had earlier, so halfway down, that might be sufficient for you, or you can take it down the remainder of the way. And just let go. Let the head just dangle. Maybe you take your hands and give the hairline a little massage there, top of the scalp. Increase circulation, blood flow. And then hands settle back in to hold on to something, so just don't let them dangle. So you might hold the ankles, the shin bones, knees or thighs, or for some, easily the floor. Speaking of the floor, we are on our way down there soon. So let's bend the knees. Transition your elbows to your knees. And then the hands to the knees. Tuck the tailbone under. Chin stays into the chest, like a standing cat stretch here, so arching your back. That's it, and then slide the hands up higher onto the thighs. Start to straighten those powerful legs, and then roll yourself all the way up to standing. Go slow. Nice. When you get to the top, let's slide down onto your backs on the mat. So you can get there any way of your wanting, and you might roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. So possibly step your feet about hips distance apart. As we roll ourselves back, you might hold on to the legs to transition to the floor, or maybe you'll take your hands up, spin the palms to face one another, and then you can roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time, ideally not dropping into a big clump anywhere. And at the bottom, just taking one hand onto the belly, one hand onto the heart, reposition your feet, and just enjoy a moment to pause here with that back connection to the floor. And as you do, sense the breath moving in the area of the diaphragm, the area of your chest. Chin drops down slightly into the chest. As you begin now to allow your breath to be received with the bottom hand first, of the abdomen filling with breath, then the top hand. Then release the breath from the top hand and then the bottom hand. So we could also say, fill the abdomen, chest, and collarbone as you breathe in. Release the breath, collar, then chest and abdomen as you breathe out. Settle your hands by your sides, palms down. Not changing that breathing now. We'll let the hands imagine they're guiding the breath both in and out of your body. So as you're ready, inhale, let the arms start to rise up and overhead, even if that's only across from the chest. Ideally to make the backs of the hands touch the floor, but if that doesn't work for you, don't overdo anything. As you exhale, let the arms descend by your sides. Inhale, arms are rising. That's it. Exhale, arms are lowering down. Now in a moment, we're going to keep this movement going. Keep the breath going like this, and we'll lift into Setu Bandhasana. That's a little bridge pose. So when your hands lift, you'll also invite the hips and pelvis to rise towards the ceiling with you. Keep your nose pointed towards the ceiling as you work with this. Let's go. As the arms start to rise, hips and pelvis roll off the floor. Finding that height you're comfortable with, then automatically releasing it, landing the vertebrae independently back to the floor. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, lower. 2 more times. The next time that the sacrum makes contact down onto the floor, let it rest there as you sweep your arms to a nice and wide T position, preferably palms facing towards the ceiling. As you exhale, let your head roll to the left. As you inhale, roll your head to the right. Nice, keep that going. And then we'll drop the knees in the opposite direction for the gentle spinal twist. So knees fall to one side, head looks in the opposite direction. Nice and side to side. You're unwinding everything from the body. Hopefully your practice so far has already helped you feel a bit more relaxed. Very nice, and then in a moment, let's bring your knees into the chest, or we'll take your hands on top of or beneath the knees. As you bring the legs in, give them a nice hug. Enjoy a little rocking around, just massaging your back. And you might find that that's plenty, or that's enough for you. Or maybe you'll let this get a little bit more playful. So maybe you'll take your arms towards the ceiling, legs towards the ceiling, and then bend, drawing in, contracting. Inhale, expand. If you take the legs up, don't force them to be straight, especially if you're super tight. You might have to keep a bend in the knees. And the next time that the arms and the legs are suspended mid-air, take some space between the legs. Let your shoulders drop towards the floor. If you haven't already, put a little bend in the knees. And then just imagine that you're like a dead bug here. I know it's an awful thing to think of, but just letting your arms and your legs just kind of sway around. Just enjoying just a moment of not having gravity, that gravitational pull on the feet towards the floor. Obviously gravity is trying to get the legs down, but just letting them be suspended momentarily. And then dropping into stillness, releasing the elbows, releasing the wrists. Just feel how good that feels to just release and pause. As you let your hands float back down by your sides, bending the knees, let the feet find the floor, hips distance apart. Press into the back of the skull, the back of the elbows, so you can slide the shoulder blades down the backside body. Lift the sacrum off the floor, drag your seat closer to your heels, and then settle it back down. Spin the palms to face the ceiling. Straighten the legs along the floor's support, so you can come into Shavasana for final relaxation. So as you settle in, just taking a moment to notice if there's anything you could do to get even more comfortable. So maybe you'll need to rearrange some clothing or make little adjustments so that you feel like you're fully and completely able to settle in here. And then in time, just letting the eyes close. As you now invite a softening to wash over the whole body here. So soften the big brow muscle across the forehead. Give the skull full permission to sink into the floor along with all of those busy everyday thoughts. Relax more fully the remainder of the face. Arms, hands, and fingers. The whole back side of the body. Whatever has contact with the floor, invite all of these body parts to just sink even deeper with an out breath. And for several minutes here, just dropping deeper into stillness. Notice the reverberations of your practice here. Some teachers call it the echo. So it might feel like a soft tingling sensation washing over the body. An increase of circulation. So you're giving yourself permission to feel everywhere, but nowhere in particular for the next 5 cycles of breath. Now, if you have more time, you may wish to stay in Shavasana for a longer amount of time. Otherwise, let's start to wake the body up. We'll wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Just take a moment to move your body in any way that it feels the need to move. Maybe enjoying a nice long stretch of the whole body, like just waking yourself up in the morning, even though this is most likely an anytime practice for you. And then eventually let the arms come down. We'll bend the knees, feet to the floor. Let's roll yourself over onto one side. And then when you arrive there, you can use the top hand and the bottom elbow to press yourself up to seated. Very good. Just finding a seated posture that feels comfortable for you, whatever that may be. Sitting up long and tall, let's gather the hands to prayer position. The shoulders are down, bowing your head to yourself. Just receiving this present moment. And as we do, we'll seal our practice chanting Om together just one time. So invite a soft breath to be received. And we say thank you and namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. We'll hope to see you again soon. Take care.